afternoon. Just wait 30 seconds to begin our section. Good afternoon. I think we can begin. Yes, Rogério?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you all for participating in this section, which aims to discuss the monitoring of European capitals of culture, life cycle, trends, challenges, and opportunities. This event is organized in the context of the CulTourData Project, supporting data-driven innovation for tourism, small and medium enterprises in European capitals of culture, a program co-founded by the COSM program of the European Union. This project is made up of 8 partners representing 7 countries, including different entity profiles among cultural and creative SMEs, tourism and culture and creative industries, a public tourism agency, a business incubator, a public business support organization, a university, and the European Network for Accessible Tourism. Moreover, each partner is linked to one ECoC, Matera 2019, Leuven 2018, Chemnitz, Future ECoC in 2025, COSIS 2013, Extremadura 2030. But to tell us more about this project, I give the word to Paolo Montemurro.
Thank you.
I think from Materahub and the coordinator of CulTourData Project.
Thank you, Alcina, very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paolo Montemurro. I'm the director at Materahub, and I have the pleasure to be the coordinator of this project that, as Alcina said very well, it's funded by the COSME program of the European Commission. I will not take too much of your time because we really want this event and the one that will follow in the next month to be very much operational and open for the people like all the guests that are in this room, virtual room, that are involved with the European Capital of Culture or have an interest to work within the framework of European Capital of Culture to explore the magic word of data, impact, monitoring, and all these topics that, as you probably very well know, are key for the success and the sustainability of initiatives like European Capital of Culture. So the CulTourData Project is funded specifically in a call that wants to support digitalization of SMEs in tourism. But what we wanted to do was to take a particular angle, which was, first of all, the understanding of how the program of European Capital of Culture is able to foster tourism, cultural tourism, innovative tourism, but doing it from the point of view of what are the data that SMEs in European Capital of Culture, what are the data that policymakers, what are the data that the organizations that are running European Capital of Culture are able to collect are interested in collect and are able particularly to use in order to generate new policies in the area of tourism, in the area of support to tourism, but not only in tourism, because as you will listen from the presentation that is following after my short presentation, there are a number of dimensions that are activated by European Capital of Culture. And there are a number of areas from economy to culture, of course, to society in general that can benefit from a pillar initiative like the European Capital of Culture. So our ambition is to try and understand how to create something like a system that will allow future candidate cities, future European Capital of Culture, to really take the most out of their experience, take the most out of the data, being able to collect and use the data in partnership with all those other stakeholders that are maybe not directly related to culture, not directly related to tourism, but that have a lot to say in the process of making European Capital of Culture and initiatives that has an impact on local development. For the 10 years that the city is involved in the competition, and the 10 years after, when the city maybe has got the award, but then it's struggling with the legacy. So tourism for us is a very good excuse to start, because of course it's one of the activity that had an incredible impact. And today you will listen the story from Matera that is a good example of that. But after tourism, there are a number of other dimensions that we would like to keep under the eye of what we are calling an observatory, this ECoC Watch, that our project has created as a pilot initiative, but that we would like to offer as a methodology, as a scheme, as a structure to all the cities around Europe that are really interested in approaching European Capital of Culture from this specific angle that is at the center of our project. So no further words from my side, Alcina and Rogério. I give you the mic and enjoy the rest of the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Paolo, for your brief presentation of this big project. We hope that we will create an interesting and a powerful market intelligence system that could help strengthen all these ECoCs now and in the future. Now I will give the word to Rogério Costa from Politécnico Leiria to briefly present the ECoC Watch, this pilot project we have been created, and its indicator system.
Thanks, Alcina. Hope you see my presentation. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. As you said, I will briefly present the ECoC Watch, starting talking about what is the ECoC Watch, and then I'll present the data set and indicators specification methodology used by the ECoC Watch. And finally, I'll talk about the dimensions and some of the indicators proposed. So let's start. The main goal of the ECoC Watch is to enhance the cooperation and exchange of data and information between capitals. To achieve this, the ECoC Watch is moving forward with 3 major initiatives. The first one is the specification of a system of indicators to monitor all the ECoC life cycle, from the submission phase to the year events and beyond. The second major initiative is regular reporting. Several reports will be released with data and trends and made available in the CulTourData website. The third initiative is promoting public events like this one we are in today. So the ECoC Watch was created in last April. It is organized into 3 teams, a board composed by scientific players and sectoral stakeholders, the internal team composed of people from the CulTourData Project, and the advisory team, which is composed of experts, cultural operators, and policymakers. As I said, the first initiative of the ECoC Watch was to propose a system of indicators. The methodology to achieve that was based in 3 steps. The first one comprised reviewing current indicator systems, scientific works and policies, and also gathering experience from ECoCs players and previous ECoCs. The second step was aimed to identify the key topics to monitor ECoCs and to build a set of such topics and indicators. For each proposed indicator, the internal team identifies the calculation methods, data requirements, measurement frequency, but also the sustainable development goals they contribute to, which are the key stakeholders to use such each indicator, the reasons for measuring, and some possible actions to improve the indicator results. The third step was to get feedback from advisors, from the board, and to refine the proposals. And then finally, we got some topics that were the core of our indicator system. So we selected 9 dimensions, 9 topics, and end up with 55 indicators. So the dimensions in this image are the 9 one. Now I will talk about a little about each of them. I won't discuss each of the 55 indicators, but we'll have an overview of them. So the first dimension, the ECoC characterization dimension, has 8 indicators. The aim of this dimension is to help understand and characterize the city, the host, and it is especially useful in comparing different ECoCs. We have 2 characterization dimensions in our proposals. The first was the ECoC characterization. The second one is the tourist characterization. This dimension aims to characterize visitor profiles, allowing ECoCs players to understand visitors' expectations and needs. Then, after the characterization dimensions, we have the other 7, which are related to different aspects. The third one is culture and creativity, which is a domain that provides information regarding the promotion of cultural tourism and interculturality, cultural heritage, management, and preservation. This dimension has 4 core indicators. The next dimension is investment and creation of value. This domain measures, as the name says, the investment level from public and private sectors and the value created by being an ECoC, including the event's direct and indirect economic impacts, like the impacts on housing price, the turnover per cultural tourism activity. The next dimension is locals and tourist satisfaction. It aims to measure the satisfaction of different actors with respect related to tourism and life in the ECoC, including with the impacts of tourism in the local and working conditions. So we can see in this dimension, including indicators related to the volunteer satisfaction, the employee satisfaction, and the visitor satisfaction. Accessibility and inclusion is the next topic. The indicators of this domain will measure the level of accessibility and inclusivity along the various interactions between the ECoC and the tourist. We have an environmental sustainability dimension, which analyzes the ECoCs and tourism SMEs environmental sustainability in terms of conservation and use of resources, carbon footprint, and mobility. The next dimension we call digital and virtual. In fact, digital and virtual represents a paradigm shift in the concept of ECoCs, which opens many new possibilities for cultural creativity and exchange. This domain, in fact, aims to measure aspects related to digital solutions, applications, and services in the life cycle of ECoCs. And the last dimension is the well-being dimension. The well-being indicators aim to measure aspects related to physical and mental well-being of residents, and aspects related to the trust of locals and visitors, but also the percentage of residents who found new opportunities associated with local culture or tourism, and so on. So that's an overview of the indicator system. I think my time is over, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is. Just in time, Rogério.
So that's it.
Thank you very much, Rogério, for this brief presentation of the ECoC Watch pilot project and the proposed indicator system, comprising all these dimensions and indicators to monitor ECoC's life cycle, and thus may contribute, it's our hope, to improve skills and strategies when this data, when using this data that will be provided in open access for tourism development and working at ECoC's legacy. So let's move to the main topic. How to monitor ECoC's life cycle, trends, challenges, and opportunities. To discuss this topic, we will have the participation of ECoC Watch board members and advisors who also have been linked to one ECoC's management. Thus, they have huge experience with ECoCs, with this subject, namely with the case of Matera 2019, COSIS 2013, and in the future, Chemnitz 2025. I will invite Rita Orlando to begin this discussion, sharing with us their experience with Matera 2019. Rita, thank you very much for your availability to share with us your knowledge, your experience with Matera 2019. Can I help you, Rita? I think the sound is off.
Okay, nice. I couldn't activate my audio as a simple participant, so my mic was off.
Okay,
So,
thank you, Rita, for your
thank you for
availability.
the invitation. Happy to be here. I can see many colleagues in the audience, so happy to share my experience here in Matera. So I would like to share with you our experience in data collection, but also and especially maybe in data visualization. So if I can share my screen.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Okay. I will show you. Okay. Oh, okay. Seems that I cannot. Just one moment. Okay, so. It's not possible for me right now to share the screen. I don't know why. Technical issues with this computer. Okay, let me access again, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, back again. Apologies for this. Okay, let me see if now it's possible to share the screen. Okay.
Okay, it's perfect.
Okay, not this window indeed, but this one.
Okay.
Can you see the platform now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So let's start from here. What we did is a huge collection of data throughout, let's say, not the bidding phase, but starting from after the designation, starting from the implementation phase, but namely from 2017, so 2 years in advance, for several reasons. I know that, I know the project pretty well because I've contributed to the, to define the set of indicators, but we should take into account that, of course, the European Capital of Culture is a very complex project and that the local situation or dimension has a huge impact on the ECoC organization, okay? So it's not always possible to follow a precise route while implementing the European Capital of Culture, but it depends on the local condition, on how much the ECoC team has the possibility to work and to be set up in a certain phase. So in our case, we have started the collection of data throughout the years, but we didn't manage to share them during 2019 or before. What we did has been collecting the data. We have analyzed that then after 2019, namely in 2020. And we have decided to create the first open data portal with the ECoC monitoring results in 2020, where you have open access to a set of data that we have collected and analyzed. And this data have been interpreted on different perspectives and also translated into infographics so that the majority of people could read them. Because it's not just a matter of data collection, but of data visualization and data use. It's not just, let's say, sufficient to collect all the data for monitoring the impact, because maybe not everybody is able to grab relevant information from these Excel sheets. But I mean, it could be more convenient to make data usable also from different kind of audience and different kind of stakeholders. So in our case, we have realized this open data portal, which has 4 main categories. So cultural vibrancy, cultural access, identity of the place, and philosophy and management of the process. And then, so you can find different kind of section. For each section at the bottom of the page, you can find the open data corner. So everybody is free to download the Excel sheet which is connected to it. Just to give you an example, I will go there on this section. For each section, oh, okay. For each section, you will find a short description of this philosophy behind this set of data. In which way these data have been interpreted and for which purpose, because it's also a matter of purpose. For the ECoC Watch, for instance, as a perfect angle on tourism, we had different perspectives because it's not just a matter of tourism, but it's also a matter of cultural access, of well-being, of people, of economic impact, etc., etc., or multidisciplinarity. There are different kind of angles that you can use to read data. In this case, this is a section which represents, for instance, the cultural participation of citizens involved. You find here different kind of, you know, do you see them? Visualization of data, and you can choose. So you can choose which kind of visualization do you prefer, age, gender, etc., etc. Also the reason why they participated, etc., etc. So, and that said, with regards to tourism, I would like to show you this kind of section, which is called cultural citizenship. In our case, for instance, with regards to tourism, we had a huge increase of number of tourists which arrived in the city. And you will find, for instance, if you want, here you have all the data. No, it's the same section. I don't know why. Let's see here. You find a comparison, which is not this one. I have some problem with the platform. Just let me see. Okay. So in our case, for instance, with regards to tourism, we have launched, let's say, a new idea for tourists, which is really intertwined with culture. So we have launched this idea of cultural citizenship or temporary citizenship, so that tourists were considered not only as foreigners, but as temporary citizens of the city that in some ways were responsible of leaving a certain impact. So it was not just a matter of arriving into the city, taking part in some events, or leaving some money in the city, but participating in the cultural life of the city that we were designing for the European Capital of Culture. So that's why, for instance, in our case, we launched also like a cultural passport for the events, so that each citizen or tourist with no difference could have access to the same kind of events, paying 19 euros for the entire year, so that they could participate not only in the events, but also in workshops, in co-creations activity, etc., etc. So we use a particular kind of approach, so that also tourism was part of our cultural strategy. So you can see here all kind of data connected to the usage of passport. And also you will find all the data related to tourism. We had a huge increase in the number of tourism within 2014, in the year of the designation, up to 2019. It was really, really surprising. Matera finally has become part of the global geography, which was not before. So the impact was, let's say, almost unexpected. To these regards, for instance, we have all the economic impact of tourism, which has been developed after 2019. In 2020, you can find everything on our website, but also here on the Open Data portal. But at that time, it was not possible for us to set up a system of data collection which, let's say, and to establish common indicators with the regional agency of tourism, for instance, or with the local municipality, for many reasons, because the local situation didn't let us to work in such a way, but also because within our team, we didn't have a separate group of people or a separate department that worked constantly or daily on this data collection system. Okay, so this might be my advice, that it's not that much easy to achieve. So we all start the ECoC adventure with the best intentions ever, but along the way it's very, very much complicated. It's I think that it's one of the most challenging and complicated projects ever. So it's quite a very harsh challenge. There's one more thing that I would like to add. Within this ECoC Watch, we have established many indicators, trying to take into account all the nuances that the European Capital of Culture can have. I have to say that, I mean, even though we have set this kind of common indicators for all the city that might be very useful, I think that the local dimension has to be taken into account. So there are extra indicators that, to me, cities should add or not to these major ones that you have identified. Just to cite an example, in our case, for instance, with regards to indicators of numbers of cultural facilities for 1,000 inhabitants, in our case, for instance, we were a very small city without cultural facilities, I can say. So we have one museum, we didn't have a theater, just one cinema. So we don't have big cultural institutions. But what we have done is that we have used unusual venues to make cultural activities. So in that we have like changed the perspective on cultural buildings or venues or institutions. So this might be like a way to underline that, to me, at local level, there might be some small, slight differences. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rita Orlando, for your very insightful presentation. Thank you for sharing your experience with the Matera 2019 Open Data Portal. Now I would like to invite Michal Hladky from Creative Industry Košice 2013 and also member of the ECoC Watch Board to share another experience. Yeah. Michal, I apologize if I didn't pronunciate your name well.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. It's okay. Thank you for having me here. I would not have a presentation as Rita. Thank you for your excellent presentation. So I would continue with rather what happened after European Capital of Culture, because during the European Capital of Culture, we really focus mostly on economic and investment impact and slightly on tourism and let's say audiences. But after European Capital of Culture, we more and more started focusing on well-being and how all these culture and creative endeavor which happened in the city benefited to local environment, and also how it increased the, let's say, the numbers of visitors and the services the city is providing. So we came with lately with the project called Košice 2.0, and this project is very much about what culture data is about, or CulTourData is about. And it's about data-driven decision-making. So what we do is we try to work with local municipality and stakeholders to help them understand how, with the data collection, data analysis could help them make better decisions for the future and also for their citizens. We also established, as Rita already showed, the Open Data Platform. The Open Data Platform of Košice already has over 40 data sets, and we use, in terms of well-being, we use the OECD methodology of Better Life Index, and we also combine it somehow with what JRC did with Creative Cities. We collect the data about the sector, and also we collect the data about how citizens feel, how citizens, let's say, experience their neighborhoods, how citizens could contribute to the public events, activities, and could engage. But also we monitor the sectors, mostly creative sectors. So we use all the economical data, what is called FinStat, the financial statistics, and how the sector grows. And here I would point out something which happened recently. There's European Innovation and Technology Institute launched Creative Kick, or Culture and Creative Kick, which also in its strategy includes ECoCs as one of the anchor points, and also deals with mapping, monitoring, and data collection in wider, let's say, innovation scope within the culture creative industries. So for the project, this is a great opportunity to unite. I see Paolo here, who's also a member of consortium, and maybe some others. So this would be a great follow-up, and if we somehow reach the point of uniting the methodologies and uniting how to look on the ECoCs on a European scale and try to collect it and share the collective knowledge between the cities. This would be a great achievement of the project for the future. So I would end my intervention here and pass to Sören, because we slightly running out of time.
Thank you. Thank you, Michal. Sören Uhle from Chemnitz, next European Capital of Culture in 2025, and also member of the ECoCs Advisor. Sören, would you like to share with us your experience as the next European Capital of Culture? What are you doing at the moment?
A little bit nervous.
Oh, no.
I give it to you. Hi, everybody in the round. Thank you very much for this invitation, and thank you for this round. On the one side, I said the former ECoCs said, "Yeah, we are done. Now we are in the legacy." That's a fantastic situation for that, and I'm also dream a little bit about this time after 2025 at the moment. But on the other side, it's a great honor for us that we are part of this movement at the moment here in Chemnitz and surrounding. And it's on the one side a special situation, and it's a special time for the people and also for the institutions. It's a very big learning for all. And on the other side, I think we have get and solved so many problems and challenges in the past, like in 2018, for instance, in Chemnitz. We are tough and strong enough that we get the title in 2025 for us and all the people who want to visit us. And in this way, we have now 22 months till the opening ceremony on the 18th of January, maybe 23 months. But we have many challenges, and I would like a little bit explain this on these two dimensions of this, the challenges of data which we use and also which we need. That's on the one side, in the application process, we talked about a common platform of makerspace.eu. It's our collecting and source of data of the makers of Europe, people in the also part of creative tourism, which we are collected in 2025 on this platform, maybe also in a separate app, but also in web application. And on this platform, we are organizing this community, give on the one side the whole of the program in 2025. And of the other side, we have the chance about the registration process and so on, that we are keep in touch in the future after this year. That's a special thing of that. We must build this platform in this next year, that we have the chance that they can start with the beginning of 2025. It's on the one side for the people in Chemnitz and the culture region, and on the other side for selected after special interests also from the makers from Europe, Eastern Europe, for instance. That's just the one side. It's the perspective of the guest, which visit the city and also the ECoC 2025 with a program of the region. On the other side, we have now in a very tough and very complex preparation process. We have many answer the questions of logistics, especially here in Chemnitz. It's transportation topics, how much time spend the guest on the road to visiting Chemnitz, and in this way, how many times spent from the airport to Chemnitz and so on. We have several problems. One of this is that we have not good reach man to Chemnitz about the public sector, about the public traffic sector. That is one of our problems. And on the other side, we plan, I think, a smart hosting management. You know, we have in Chemnitz, in the core of the city, we have 3,500 beds for the people, and in the surrounding, we have maybe 10,000 beds of that. It's 3 times of that, and I think it's in which way we have an event. It's the opening or also the closing ceremony. We have many people in the city and also in the region, and we make it like the circle theory. At start, you have the inner core of Chemnitz, then the beds are full, and then there goes on the cycles in the region. And in this logic, we are work with a Free State of Saxony together, because if 10,000 beds are not enough, then we can go wider to Leipzig and Dresden, and then in this way we have maybe enough infrastructure for guests to get in a night in the region to visit the programs in Chemnitz. But the problem is, after pandemic, we have different kind of numbers. If the beds are realistic, the problem on the one side, you have the small and medium companies in tourism, like hotels, restaurants, and so on. But at the moment, we don't know how many beds they are include, and we can how many beds they can offer in 2025. We have at the moment a situation in the pandemic time, many restaurants are closing or hotels are closing or decrease the number of beds for cost potentials and so on. And now it's a question, how is it increasing to 2025 that we know what is the realistic offer in 2025? That's one of the big question at the moment. And we can solve this on the one side with the statistics that we have. On the other side, we need the contact to the SMEs. It's the one and only chance we get a clear and realistic picture of the situation. And I think this data, our data challenge is in the preparation process. It's the main topic at the moment for us. The second one, the build up the Makerspace EU for the guests in 2025, must solve our GmbH, the organization company for 2025. But we are responsible, and we feel responsible also for the legacy after 2025. And in this way, our role model is Linz from 2009, I think. There was ECoC. Linz has a very successful legacy. After this year, they are increasing the tourism overnights about 20%, in opposite to the former times, the ECoC year before. And this is our role model and our key indicator. We are orientated on this level because in this way we have a complete new structure of the destination, tourism destination of the end last year. We have a new build up of the destination Chemnitz-Zwickau region with this 10,000 beds. They are very new structure, new organization will be built up now of beginning this year. And in this way, I think we have a good infrastructure level at the moment, but it's not so much time till the end of the preparation process and the beginning of the ECoC year. So far. And I have one question, Michal, in Košice. How get your data from this neighborhood experience? That's just very interesting for us because we have in our application, in our ECoC program, we have the flagship generous neighbors. And in this way, I'm very interested in to get a little bit more information about how can you monitor this. I think it's a question of how can you measure the preferences of the people in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's we collect it physically, so we go there and people collect the data physically. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We also have
in the regular way of one of a year, or
yes, it's we also have a car which is called Mobile Urban Laboratory. So, and it's equipped with different technological stuff, but also with iPads, so people can easily collect the answers.
And you go to the people where the people live in the living areas in Košice. Okay.
But we use it also for different like environmental data and others. So it's if there is an event organized in the neighborhoods, connected sometimes to those heat exchangers, Vimeniki project or some other projects. So we use the opportunity. So, but it's a physical collection of data, because we used also phone calls, but it's very low ratio, success ratio to find because you have anonymized the numbers. So it's very, very low. If you want to target to Košice and to specific neighborhood, it's almost impossible.
We have in 2020 in the application process, we have realized the biggest survey in the past in Chemnitz, about 6,000 people in the living areas, and we asked about one question: what's the biggest problem for the people in a city, which is solved only by the community, not for the one and only person? And where there was about 6,000 answers, and now we will, to activate and reactivate the civil community, we repeat this questionnaire and this survey this year in the living areas. And maybe we have in Chemnitz 5 or 6 bigger living areas, and our people with a paper, maybe also iPad, go in and discuss and communicate with the people, also part of civil participation. Okay,
thank you. Rogério, I think Maria Garcia Rosa from Enterprise Europe Network and also member of the ECoC Watch Board as an anticipated event and could not be present to join our discussion. So we have 5 minutes left. And we could open the discussion to other participants. What do you think, Rogério?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Does anyone have any question?
Any question, any comment, any consideration?
Yeah.
Any advice?
Hello, my name is Matthijs Moosen. Thank you for the conversation. I was wondering, when you were making your indicators, did you have a look at the impact report that Leeuwarden has produced? in the year after, I can spread it, because there actually the indicators are actually a level more deeper, not as far as Michal has developed them with all the references to the international data that is collected, and that is also easier because there is a lot of that kind of information already collected on a national level. But in the case of Leeuwarden, they did a lot themselves, and especially things like media clipping and what is the European splash that you're making, and the numbers, the creativity that was used to basically find data, also to really see the impact on European citizenship. That is things that I basically missed in the one of the things that I missed in the beginning of this session that might be picked up. So I wonder if you maybe could have a look at those kind of impacts, because they are really useful. And then the second remark that I have is that, by my knowledge, cultural capitals are a process that is very much crisis driven. And a cultural capital averagely goes through 50 more or less similar kind of crises, bigger or smaller, and we know more or less when they happen 3 months later and 3 months earlier. And so in that way, looking at indicators like, are we already in this crisis? Or how do we prepare in one crisis for the other one, could actually maybe help, especially this life cycle kind of philosophy that you're trying to set up, that I also missed in the indicators. So I'm happy to share about this outside of the meeting.
Okay, thank you for the suggestions. Of course, we would like to take a look of the reports you have to share and your experience. We look at after several documents, and our intention was not to propose too many indicators. Of course, there might be things missing, and we have the ECoC Watch working on reports and looking for missing information and turning the indicator system. So yes, thank you for your suggestions. We may add any missing dimensions and topics. I think that's it.
Any more questions, suggestions, advices, experiences? Okay. Now, if there is no more questions, I think, Rogério, would you like to add something else?
No, yeah, we're getting out of time. Yeah, it's almost the time we proposed to end the meeting. I think it was really interesting, and we'll have another public event in a few months, where we may talk about the sustainability of the ECoC Watch. For now, as I said, the ECoC Watch is building some reports who will be made available in the project's website. Paolo shared it in the chat. So from my side is it. I don't know if the speakers want to share something else. Rita, Michal, Sören.
Okay, very well. Just
we are looking forward to know more. Really, because I think that it's a really challenging project, but extremely meaningful. It can be really helpful. Also to create like a major coordination at European level that we don't manage to achieve because we are busy in trying to develop the cultural programs. So it's very good.
Okay. So thank you all for your participation, for sharing with us your experience, and see you soon.